Okay, so now we're going to do stereo width with delays. It's summarized here on this slide for you, but I'll walk you through it in this tutorial. So instead of using utility, we can create the same effect using our delay. Okay, now what we need to do is 100% wet, 0% feedback. Get these working on a time base, unlink them, get this back to time. So this is basically our left channel, so what you'd hear in your left ear, and our right channel, what you'd hear in your right ear. And what we want is there to be a difference between when the sound hits your left ear and when it hits your right ear. And if it's big enough, your brain perceives these sounds as on the side instead of in the middle. So let's have a listen currently where there's no difference. The main clap is in the middle and there's a lot of nice delays popping out to the sides, just to show you that's got nothing to do with the delay. So those delays are printed onto the audio. But as we start to increase this, you'll notice that the clap again starts to appear on the sides. So I'll just go to a nice classic number that a lot of people like to use and then tweak from there. And now without. So you can clearly hear that it's putting again that sound right on the sides. Okay, and why is that happening? Let's go through it in a little bit more detail. Actually, first of all, that's basically it. That's the trick. Okay, you could save this, that button, and have width trick, and you could just drop that on your tracks and bang, all of a sudden your sounds are on the sides. I've actually done that. It's quite a good way just to have some fun while you're writing, so you don't get stuck in the mixing process. But importantly, before we move on from here, I have to stress the importance of actually not just setting 17 and forgetting. And so moving between, say, 11, maybe even 6, up to, say, 50, okay? And because what's happening is this. If we zoom in, okay, by separating the left and right channel, we're basically creating a duplicate of the exact same piece of audio. And so we could pan this left to be the left and right to be the right channel, left and right. And what we're doing is putting a 17 millisecond delay for this right channel. So if we zoomed right in, essentially what we're doing is just moving this a little bit off, okay? So our ear actually hears this one first, then this one. And because it's on the left and right channel, that's why it sounds like it's on the sides. The problem is using this method can actually decrease the quality of our sound, because what happens when you take these two sounds, which are identical, and put them back into the middle, is that we'll have some phase cancellation. So it's a little bit complicated to go into the depths of phase cancellation for the diploma, but that's covered in the advanced diploma. Essentially what it means is that when this waveform's going down and this waveform's going up, they cancel each other out. So they can actually result in just silence. What that usually ends up sounding like is getting rid of the warmth or the mid frequencies, and the sound ends up being a bit metallic. So a bit phasey, that is the sound of phase. So that's why it's not always the best option long term or when you're doing a proper mix, this one, but it is a really good way to get that effect. So what you need to do is move this and have a listen to what sounds the best for the actual sound. And so what I'm listening to here is, and finally, to make this perfectly replicate that, I would have to use my track delay and put it to 17 milliseconds as well. But as you can see, saves you a whole track, saves you a lot of panning, saves you the track delay. You can simply just use the delay settings here. 100%, 0, and then tweaking there. And so what we're going to listen for in the original sample, I'll move this now so you can understand what to hear, is the timbre of the original sound. So we want the timbre of the original sound to still sound the same. If it sounds the same, then we're doing a good job. If it starts to sound phasey, then we might need to adjust this here. And finally, to actually hear the phase cancellation happen, what we need to actually do is get it back to the middle. So once we've put it on the sides by doing this delay, okay, we use our utility, make it mono, which again puts it right back in the middle. Just to show you again. So we've put it on the sides and then we've brought it back into the middle, and this is going to allow us to check the damage that we've done basically because of the phase cancellation. So if we turn these both off, hear how the attack and punch and transients of the clap is now gone? Yeah, sounds a bit more metallic, a bit more washy. So that's the impact of the phase cancellation happening, those two channels getting some back together and cancelling each other out. So we can try and get the best result possible by adjusting this 17 milliseconds and listening to still try and get some of that attack, but still have that width when utility is off. So it sounds a little bit better. That sounds great. That's because 11 milliseconds is actually the cutoff point where our ears, left and right, can hear a difference between something hitting the left and something hitting the right. So if something's under 11 milliseconds, it usually sounds pretty towards the center or the middle. As we get over 11 milliseconds, our ears start to be able to hear the timing difference between the sounds hitting us. This is right in the sweet spot. And that's sounding like it's got a lot more attack compared to this. That's easy to hear. Okay, so that's quite complicated, so you might need to watch this video a few times. But in the end, I did explain you everything. In the end, you usually just need to set up this delay and you get that result. Yeah, and it's great on claps to put those claps on the sides. It's great on chords. It's great on effects. This is a really quick way, like I said, when you're saving it, to just be writing, bam, put that sound on the sides and keep having fun. So I hope you guys enjoy.